First, Marid. Perhaps the most popular type of jinn is the Marid. The Marid, translated as rebellious, is widely regarded as the most dangerous and evil type of jinn. They are incredibly powerful and thought to be the favored troops of Iblis. Marid are proud and arrogant and, thus, are easily manipulated into doing one's chores for them. They have appeared widely in pre-Islamic lore and even got integrated into Western folklore in the form of the genies. Aside from mentions in the Quran, the Marid appears in stories like The Fisherman and the Jinnah. They are born with free will and can be allied with humans, albeit after a lot of battles, flattery, or rituals. Second, Ifrits. Ifrits are infernal creatures believed to be gigantic and winged. They exist in tribalistic social structures ruled over by kings and leaders. Ifrits are usually considered evil, but according to most folklore, they have free will to choose faiths and actions. According to Islamic tradition, King Suleiman, imprisoned an Ifrit and convinced him to be his servant. In 1001 Nights, an Ifrit also appears in The Porter and the Young Girls. According to Islamic and Persian tradition, Ifrits reside in ruins. However, African tradition dictates that they also live in the bottom of muddy pools and swamps. They generally marry and procreate within their own species but can also marry humans. This type of jinn is one of the more popular ones, which is evident through multiple appearances in different forms of media, be it books, movies, video games, or TV series. Third, ghouls. Ghoul, or the anglicized ghoul, is a type of ferocious jinn that feeds on human corpses and blood. They are cannibalistic, shape-shifting creatures that lure unsuspecting travelers and children and eat them. Ghouls mostly reside in graveyards, where they steal corpses to feast on. The ghoul can shape-shift into animals, especially a hyena, that typically coaxes travelers into forests or quiet areas to trap and eat them. They can also assume the forms of humans to trick children into following them. Female ghouls, known as ghuli, also take the form of beautiful women in deserts and graveyards to lure unsuspecting men. However, you can easily tell them apart due to their donkey legs. Fourth, Silat. Types of jinn in Islam. The Silat is a malicious shapeshifter jinn that takes on the form of animals and humans so well that it is practically indistinguishable. As one of the smartest and most powerful types of jinn, the Silat is also the most dangerous. Found usually as a female, the Silat tends to take on the form of a beautiful woman and seduces and marries men. It is also able to procreate with humans, creating hybrid children. The Silat also goes by many other names like the succubus or the European hag. Across all myths, it usually tends to take on the form of an evil seductress. However, that is not always the case. Silat can also be male and appear as a man. Something that both forms have in common, though, is the ability to appear as an animal and malicious intent. Fifth, Jann. Types of jinn in Islam. The Jann is one of the most interesting types of jinn. According to folklore, Jann are the predecessor of jinn and ruled over the earth about 2,000 years before the creation of man. The king, Jinn ibn Jann, ruled over the world inhabited by jinns. However, the king had offended God, and so Ibn Harith, Iblis before his fall from grace, went down to earth with an army of angels to challenge the king. Rather than submitting, Jinn ibn Jann chose to fight and was consequently defeated, leaving the world to be taken over by angels. As a punishment for their betrayal, Ibn Harith reduced the Jann to a much weaker form of themselves. Despite being much weaker than they used to be, the Jann are still immensely strong but tend not to be malicious anymore. They reside in desolate deserts and appear in the form of sandstorms and camels, especially white. They also reveal oases to travelers depending on whether they like the party or not. Due to their age, early origins, and punishment, the Jann are much more open-minded about humans than other jinns. They tend to stay out of their way or help. Unless a human offends a Jann to a severe degree, they are not malicious to humans. Sixth, Jinn. Considered a less strong tribe of jinns is Jinn. They mostly take the form of animals. The Arabic word Jinn refers to little supernatural creatures. Jinn fits the one class of 3 jinns that comprises snakes and dogs. The other classes are the jinns with fly wings and those that rule on the land and travel. Types of jinn in Islam. Jinn Sadiscope 2. There is a book named The Book of Jinn, in which Zakaria ibn Muhammad al-Qazwani claims he cited Jinn in Persia, Saudi Arabia, and India. 7th, Kansas. Considered to be another form of weak jinn, nasnas are hybrids. Half human and half animal form creatures, nasnas are offsprings of shirk and humans. Types of jinn in Islam. Kansas Nasnas Sadiscope. A book, 1001 Nights, described this type to appear as a half-head with one arm and leg. It hops around depending on a single leg. They are mysterious and believed to kill and make a person fleshless with a single touch within seconds. 8th, Polys. Considered easy to be fooled and low-intelligence creatures, polys are foot lickers. These vampires are known to be found in the desert. Types of jinn in Islam. Polys Sadiscope 1. They lick your feet to drain your blood while you're in your deep, peaceful sleep. In order to prevent polys, all you have to do is cover your feet bottom while you sleep. To recall, Jinn al-Kabus belongs to the family of jinn polys. 9th, Shak. Shak appears as not fully developed, half-formed creatures. Shik, the Arabic word, means split, and evidently so. Types of jinn in Islam. Shak Sadiscope. They are known to procreate with humans and are addressed as the lower, weaker class among all types. 10th, Shaitan. One of the most common jinns, Shaitan, has more mental impacts and casts evil abilities than any other jinns. They are mind players. Besides the prevalent name, Shaitan, Iblis is also mentioned in the Quran almost 11 times. Types of jinn in Islam. Shaitan Iblis Sadiscope 5. Iblis was a former angel, but since he refused to bow down to Prophet Adam, he was sent to the human world. This mischievous, widely known type promotes and motivates us to do evil deeds and go against Islamic laws. Conclusion. As surprising as it may sound, jinns make a whole population that is way more diverse than human beings. Moreover, with the various types mentioned in the Quran, we can predict how every type is one of a kind with different traits and intentions. 15th chapter of the Quran, Al-Rahman narrates. And he created the jinn from a smokeless flame of fire. From jinns causing sleep paralysis to jinns replicating the voices of your loved ones, the types of jinns are endless. As surprising as it may sound, jinns make a whole population that is way more diverse than human beings. Moreover, with the various types mentioned in the Quran, we can predict how every type is one of a kind with different traits and intentions. Take from the information, jinns can be malicious, or they would be least bothered by our presence. They can mimic an animal form or appear entirely as a human. The types and forms are endless and versatile. We should always seek protection from Allah because we can never know when we can come across any or with what intention.